The Chicago Sky suffer their second blowout loss to the Phoenix Mercury within the calendar week, unfortunately. We're going to talk about it, break it all down and more right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. Me and Steve are in the building today to go ahead and break everything down. The Chicago Sky have an 86-68 loss to the Phoenix Mercury going down today. And here's what it comes down to. Just execution and just lack of talent and skill. We're going to get into why. Let's get into the performances today. Angel Reese has a 19-point, 20 rebound game, also has one steal, one assist, only 2 turnovers in this game. She goes 8 of 16 from the field, so right at 50%. Hits even some jump shots in this game. You have next up Kennedy Carter in her return to the starting lineup, the second leading scorer with 16 points. She goes 7 of 18 from the field as well with 6 rebounds, 6 assists as well for Kennedy Carter. Camila Cardoso with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Izzy Harrison with 12 points coming off the bench and 6 rebounds as well. But this was a game in which there are a few stats that stick out. 0 for 14 from the three-point range and 28 of 78 from the field for only 35%. Steve-O, how you feeling?
We suck. And for a team that understands that a team we just played against, we can't get in the hole against because our lack of shooting, you sat there and let yourself get in the hole again throughout the whole game. Now, the refs didn't help, but you didn't help in it. There was a lot of blown layups. There was a lot of possessions where I was just like, what are we doing? There was a lot of possessions where we were just not doing it. And at the end of the day, they're just the better team. They're just the better team. They have the most talented. The coaching staff is over there is great. They have it all. So when you put yourself in predicaments where you got to climb out of holes, which we did, we tried to climb, but when it's hard when they still putting dirt on that hole and you're starting to climb out of it. You're not that good. You have to have shooters to get yourself out of holes. And we seen it when we tried to get ourselves out of holes, it was working. But one thing led to another, and we still wasn't playing our best defensively sound game. What's the first thing we said when we was going to have to do to win this game? Defense, 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 and that defense wasn't shit from the start to the finish of this game. So if you're not going to be efficient, if you're not going to play defense, this team going to get blown out every fucking time. And it just is what it is.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Like, unfortunately, like this team just hasn't had the execution enough to do anything consistently well on the offensive side of the ball. We're terrible offensively. We have been me and Steve have been pointing out the limitations of this team offensively since the start of the season. We just don't have any 3-point shooting. We have no real on-ball creation outside of the occasional game like we got last time from Lindsey Allen, but generally we have no on-ball creation at all either. Those are things that are going to leave you in a situation where you're going to be at a deficit. It's going to make everything harder for you on the offensive side of the ball when you have to deal with those things. And then it's made even harder at the fact that you just aren't getting any type of consistent flow offensively at all as a team. We just have no consistent offensive flow. All those things lead to when you play a team like the Phoenix Mercury, your offense is going to suffer. Your offense is going to suck. And yeah, and there's no quick fix for it. And the thing that I was going to get into and alluded to at the end of the live call with this is you got to just look at the realities of basketball. And this is the thing, Steve-O, I want to have a conversation with you on this one. I want to make sure I didn't do this as kind of like an off to the side solo episode, but not counting the players that we added. Marina Mabrey averaged 6.7 3-point attempts per game. Steve-O, do you know by chance the number of the next player that had the next highest 3-point attempts per game?
Probably LA, and it was probably under 2.
Dana Evans at 2.7. Nobody else was over 2. Then when you look at three-pointers made per game, Marina Mabrey made 2.3. The next highest player was Dana Evans at 0.8.
I knew it.
When you and this is the simplicities of basketball. These are the things where you got to dig deeper. I'm not saying Marina Mabrey shot the best percentage from 3 because she didn't. But when you don't have a 3-point threat at all, it makes defenses so much easier to guard you because guess what? They just can stay in the lane. They don't even have to worry because even if you do, let's just say you do get hot from 3. The chances are, the averages are, we're still going to be able to combat you because you're just not a good 3-point shooting team. again, this is not to say or to try to make this about Marina Mabry should have stayed on the team. No, she needed to go. She wanted to go. That's perfectly fine. But for the people that convince themselves that by adding two role players that are okay per, it's not about the percentage. It's about the volume. You need volume out there. When you have players that, yeah, they shoot a decent percentage, but you ain't got to worry about them taking a lot. Guess what? That really doesn't change much. And then also, let's also talk about some of the other things Marina Mabry did. Marina Mabry was our second leading rebounder. Camila Cardoso eventually passed her up, but she was our second leading rebounder. And you know why that's important as well? Because when your guard rebounds the ball, and she usually got that on the long rebound, she wasn't in there in the paint. So when your guard's getting those long rebounds, it gets you, you're already 5 steps basically closer on a fast break, which creates easier opportunities. The Chicago Sky were already a bad offensive team, but the things that the Sky were able to do to create more opportunities and easier looks for themselves, Marina Mabry was an important part of that. Take all the discontent about who she was or what her limitations were. This is why I say you got to be analytical about it and look at outside of just what they do bad, how do they help you do things well? She was also our leading steal person. You know what else she was? She also was our leading assist person. So when you look at all those things, when you miss that much of your team, you're missing your leading 3-point shot maker and taker. You're missing your lead assist person. You're losing your second leading rebounder and your second leading steal person. That creates an opportunity where now your offense has to be more creative in the half court. You know what you need to be creative in the half court? You need a
point guard.
We don't have one. So this, and I get it. The Sky aren't a terrible basketball team. They're not going to bottom out. But everything that the Sky have done well up until this point, everything that they have done well, it's making it harder to do those things well because of who you're missing. That just is. It's just the realities of the game.
It's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
That's just, it's not going to get any better because, like you said, we don't have the player that was once here that did a lot of the work that you didn't notice. Like you said, them steals help a lot.
Yeah.
Them steals definitely help a lot. Those times where she's just being out there because we have no 3-point shooter, they don't respect us. Or they're just camping in the paint, and we're a paint team. So it was like today when everybody got going in that third, we were just forcing it, and it was happening. But you can't force your way through a win. It never happens that way. So when you going up against one of the best defending teams interior wise, and you're built for them to just, you can't do anything for it. And top of that, your shooter Rachel Banner didn't do shit today. She didn't score anything. Like, that's why we got our ass whooped that way. That's why Kennedy didn't have a good game. And what bothers me is that we after that spat with Angel, we decided to get the ball to her. Why? I don't know. She didn't play good that day. Yeah. Today. So when it comes down to it, like we always said, with this current team, if you want us to win games, we damn near have to be perfect. And we was far from perfect today on both sides of the ball, definitely the offensive side of the ball. So at the end of the day, get ready for a lot of sloppy wins or losses because that's all we got. That's literally all we got. And the teams behind under us are healthy now. So
yeah,
shit.
And I'm not here to say that the Sky are all of a sudden going to lose every game. No, but I love what Steve-O just said. It's going to be a lot of ugly basketball from here to the remaining. The remaining 13 games are going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. Whether we win them, whether we lose them, no matter what, it's about to be some ugly basketball played the rest of this season. And that's just the reality of it. And here's the thing, though. Like we said, this is a rebuilding team, and I get it. We showed some flashes, and we looked good in some games early in the season, but it's not the end of the world even if we don't make the playoffs. It's not the end of the world because it was never about the success just this season. This season was supposed to be about the development of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso. Now, along the way, we found out that we got a gem in Kennedy Carter. Good. She needs to stay here. She's a restricted free agent. She needs to stay here. But do not be surprised if most of this roster is different heading into next year.
Most of this rosters are free agents as well. So like, and they're unrestricted. So Dana probably gone. Rachel, they're back on here, but everybody else, Izzy, they're most likely not going to be here. And
Yeah.
and that's another thing. I know somebody like we talk about the now. Well, we just not that team to win right now. We was never meant to be that team. There's very few teams that literally we didn't know who was going to be on the team to start this year, and they come out on top or even in a
Yeah.
playoff position. It don't happen that way. So, like I said, we've been telling y'all them first few games, that first half of the season, we was ahead of schedule because we wasn't supposed to be doing that, and that was due to one, we had a healthy E Will who's a vet starting out. She gets hurt. Then our next vet, we trade.
Yeah. That's a fact.
It just shows you like with the young team squad that we have right now, this what we really would have been looking like if we didn't have them vets. Now we don't have them vets. Now y'all seeing it.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And political. Listen, I understand that your profile picture is of somebody that's near and dear to your heart, but even they wouldn't want to see you in here looking like a dumbass like you just did with this comment. First of all, it's you dudes. So let's address the correct plural use of the word dudes. Secondly, not every player on this is cast-offs. And who said anything? We're saying get to the reality of it. You got to sometimes slow down and stop being so quick to say something and make sure you have something to say before you get to typing on your little ass keyboard. Chill the fuck out. You've done this all season long. All you've done is just say opposing things to facts just to have something to say. Get you your basketball knowledge up, which we're here to help with, and shut the fuck up.
It's easy to make y'all look stupid because how are they not half or how half of this team not cast offs? How are they not? Most of these motherfuckers wasn't making a team. Bree Turner just made the team. Kaiser just made the team. All these players on this team are not known players around or good known players around this team league.
Yeah.
We're not a good team. It is what it is. Half of these players don't even fit the fucking age where we're trying to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like this season and where this team is now, I think people just got to come to the realization. A lot of people thought, and I saw it. Hell, you can go back to the video when the trade was announced, and I was telling everybody, hey, this team is going to be bad. And oh, we're going to get better because Rachel Banham made 8 3-pointers in the game. We're going to get better. No, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. So, and we're seeing right now that how when you go bigs, right? It would have been different if maybe they went wing and a big. The Sky went 2 bigs. And I'm not mad at who the Sky went. They got Camilla, they got Angel. I love that. But point guard play is extremely important to that.
You
extremely
gotta have
important. You got to get it together.
Especially when you know the limitations of your bigs.
Yeah,
like that was another thing coming in. If you pay attention to the limitation of them bigs, the best years of Angel and Camilla's college life is they had good point guards next to them.
Yeah,
she had Alexis Morrows to lean on. That's why she had that monster year at LSU. She had Camilla had Raven Johnson all her years for the most part, as well as other great point guards and Malaysia Fo Wiley down there. When you come down here and you got Dana out here fucking passing into coverage and you got Mo passing into coverage and then you got LA don't know if she want to pass good today and Kennedy can't do a goddamn pick and roll to save her life.
Hold on. I got to correct somebody else.
It is what it is.
I love to scream in the mic. I have a promo code with the Sky. I talk to the Sky marketing team probably 2 or 3 times a week. What are you talking about? I get invited out to Sky games every time, but I'm a single father who raises his kids and don't really have. So what are you talking about? And I've only started screaming into the mic the last 2 games because there have been delusional Sky fans saying foolishness. So Big Tit, yeah, that's probably your name because you're a big ass fucking idiot and useless by most people. Watch yourself in here. You got to do better research. Got to do better research, bro. That's all I'm saying on that one. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and get into some of these super chats that we got in here. Brandon L. Jet. It's easy to defend a team when you don't have to defend the 3-point line. I swear the Sky have the same disease as the Bulls, lack of shooting. It's even worse for the Chicago Sky, honestly, bro. Like the lack of 3-point shooting on the Sky team is terrible. And it's
at least they had, but the Bulls had Kobe.
Yeah,
like we don't have nobody now. Once Marina's gone, we have nobody.
It's a team full of Vooches out there shooting from the 3-point line. Is basically what we have out there right now. Team full of them.
Right. We have a E-wheel or not. We don't got none of that.
We have no business being in the playoff picture. I mean, here's the thing: defense. And the Sky, up until this point, like before the break, we're playing a brand of defense that could push you in to the bottom tier of the playoffs. Our defense is even falling off. I don't know what's coming next after that. Like, we got to get that defense together.
And that's the motherfucker that hasn't returned since the break.
Yeah. This is 3 games so far, so maybe they can get it back. Remember Haize and Stefvo, the Sky had Courtney Williams, Kalia Copper, Elena Williams, and Marina Mabry last year and won 18 games. Yeah, but we also lost Isabel Harrison. We lost Elena Smith for quite a bit of time in there. And let's not act like Elena Smith we knew that she was going to be this.
Too.
Yeah, Morgan Birch, who had to step up big time for the Chicago Sky. We lost major players to major injuries early in that season and in the mid part of that. Everybody, Elena, Morgan, who both stepped up. We lost those ladies as the season went on.
Rebecca, not
Oh
Rebecca.
yeah, Rebecca Gardner we lost as well
Gardner.
last season.
Yeah.
So
we lost a lot of people.
Yeah, and then we lost the coach in the middle of the season who had the vision of that team fitting together. So it was a lot going on that we only won 18 games last year. But yeah, it's unfortunate. It's definitely unfortunate. So, but let's keep it going. Diamond must have something on the Sky to still be here. No, I mean she just got here, but like I said, it's not as easy. I know as fans of a team, we see players that aren't playing good for us, and we think let's get them off and get somebody else in. If that was that easy, believe me, every team in the WNBA would do it. Once you're locked into your roster, you're kind of locked into your roster, and it's hard to improve when you're this bad and you don't want to give up assets. Now, if the Sky were in a place to where we were that playoff team, we just needed a little bit to get more to be a contender, then yeah, they'd be willing to trade off their picks. But the Sky aren't going to do that. So that meant that they're going to eat their medicine for the rest of the season and take a shot at it in the offseason.
Yeah, that's what I believe at this point. Like, they're just not trying to improve it because what's the point? Because there's plenty, like what we said, all these exams get picked up. We just see one Mo did getting picked up today by the Mercury. So at this point, they don't want to get better. And it is what it is.
Yeah. So, let's see. Y'all would take making the playoffs and lose with the losing record at this point. I mean, listen. Here's the thing. Here's what I'll say to this. The best scenario to me for the Skies, and Steve-O, you can let me know what you think before. The best scenario is that the Sky barely miss out on the playoffs because that gets you in the lottery and you fought and try to win over the course of the season. Like, at the end of the day, if the Sky barely miss out on the playoffs, all right, we get a lottery pick. We get a better selection of players. I'm not mad at that.
I was all for going to the playoffs when I knew we had E-Will and Mabry on this team. Once they was gone, it was just going to be very fucking hard for us to make the playoffs. Like, with this quality team that we have right now, we have to be perfect. And acting perfection from this team is just not realistic. So if we somehow make the playoffs, somebody went the fuck off for the remaining of this 13 games, which is not likely to happen.
Yeah. Jessica says Chicago's crazy for letting good players go. Kalia Mabry, the player. Okay, so this is how I know you're a new Sky fan, and I'm not even finna flame at you, but we're just gonna get facts. Kalia Copper asked to be let go because of where the team is. They just, and we wouldn't have Angel or Camila Cardoso if we didn't let her go. Now, we try to build a team around her and Marina Mabry. We try to get NECA. We try to get Skylar Diggins. Those things fell through. Once they did, the Sky made the right decision and pivoted to the best of the future of the franchise. They realized we can't put something together that can contend now. We got to focus on the future. Marina Mabry,
she had the highest value.
Exactly. Marina Mabry, who came into this team to play for James Wade and to play with Kalia Copper and try to contend for a title, stuck it out, realized we're farther off. I had hoped that maybe somebody was going to hit a leap and we could be further. We're not. I want to go compete for a title. The Sky let her go. Now, you can talk about Gabby Williams. That's right. But that was done by a different front office, a different coach, and we've added 2 new owners to the ownership group since then. So you can't really hold this Chicago Sky
and a champion
team. Yeah, and we won a championship after letting Gabby Williams go. So kind of is what it is.
And just on that Gabby situation, we wanted, and the reason why we got to a championship is because we wanted more players on our team. If she's in France, she can't help us. We tried to work with her. She said all we asked her to do, all James Wade asked her to do was come to camp. She said she didn't want to do it. Therefore, she suspended the rest of her contract so we could get an extra player. This is not the NBA where you have 15 roster spots. So he did what he had to do. She say it's dirty. I don't think it's dirty, but that ain't the point.
I mean, I didn't really let the aspect of it, but I mean, yeah, we can agree to disagree there. But at the end of the day, like, we won a title. I mean, so I mean, at some point, like, you got the results that you wanted out of it. So we'll see. Zeno in the building says, when we can focus on the future, fans will be in a better mind space. We definitely got some good guards coming in the draft next year. Trust me, Spoon going to get her guard. Well, Jeff Pagliosha is the one that'll be drafted, and I trust that. Yeah, they're going to get one.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Like right now, when you're in the midst of a season with 13 games left, it's hard to focus on the future. But I will say this is that once the season ends and people do start gearing more towards it, and it's going to be a while because you got that long gap between that and the WNBA draft. But yeah, once we start focusing on the future, I think people will start realizing the future is very bright here for Chicago.
Yeah. It is what it is. Like if like I said, I don't want to be sound like a dick saying this, but like if you really thought we was gonna be this magical ass team this first year, you just wasn't being reasonable. Like I said, all good things come to an end, and our little run where we looked great came to an end. Now it's time to put our mind a reality of what we gonna realistically be like. And like I said, if we don't make the playoffs, technically it wasn't supposed to happen anyway.
That's a fact. FSU, y'all do a great job. Appreciate it. I'm laughing my ass off here in Florida when Haize flaming on folks. Listen, if you've been watching Chicago Bulls Central, Bears Central, this is me. I'm gonna be me. So it is what it is when it comes down to that. Why did they get rid of Wade? Wait, we didn't. Wade left to take on an assistant coaching job in the NBA.
Yeah. Toronto said, "Do you want to be assistant coach?" He said, "Yes."
Yeah, and I think he's their lead assistant now for the Toronto Raptors.
He moved up. He moved up this year. Yeah.
So, why don't they have more games? There's only 12 teams. You can, and they're at the most games that the CBA allows too. I think the CBA, this current one, only allows for 40 games, so they basically maxed that out.
I was just about to say 3-4 years ago it was 28.
Yeah.
So I'm actually quite enjoying 40 games. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's really dope to have this many games, and so we'll continue to just rock it out like we do. Mark Shannon in the building. Shout out to my little brother Mark Shannon. Says, I feel like Spoon in the front office already has a shooter and or point guard in mind that fits the mold of this team. We're going to see it in the draft or free agency. Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to trust Jeff Pagliosha. He's shown a lot of vision to get Camilla and Angel, to trade for Kennedy Carter, and what he's done on the fly. Because keep in mind, Jeff Pagliosha came into this. He didn't even hire Spoon. Spoon was hired before he came into this. To get those two players in the draft, and to now have 2 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts as well. Yeah, he gets the benefit of the doubt for me until things go left. So,
yeah, it kind of just reminds me of like that first 2 years with the Bears when you just like, well, you need to be doing something. What? Like, we gotta look at like some people could just, with their energy and the team, some players on this team could just will us to look as good as we not really are. At the end of the day, it's gonna show, and it started showing way before we went into this break. So, and the break after is it's just showing you we not that good. It just is what it is.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But yeah, that's what it comes down to. This game sucked, and it's unfortunate. But like Steve-O said, and there's a great quote by Steve-O, it's gonna be ugly. You're gonna see some ugly and sloppy wins and losses over the next 13 games of the season, and that just is what it is, man.
So prepare your hearts and minds. Do it now, because I'm telling you, if you, it ain't gonna change. It ain't gonna be no genie. You ain't gonna wake up. It's gonna be different. These gonna be some ugly ass games where half of the time we gonna be trying to fight our way back into it, and some teams are gonna fuck up. We probably win that game, and that don't mean we gonna turn around. We just gonna turn around and look the same damn way.
Yeah. And we'll see, man. Like I said, I'm not wishing for this guy to lose games, and I hope for the playoffs. I hope that they turn this thing around. I hope we can get back to playing Chicago Sky defense. That's the defense that's been so great to watch all this season. And we'll see. But I just, I brought up the. Go ahead.
I'm about to ban the name Kaiser. If I see Kaiser one more time, Kaiser is not good. I'm not finna repeat it's 500 y'all in this motherfucker. Kaiser is not good. You can get a 7 fucking day contract right fucking now, and she ain't got one. That tells you everything. Stop fucking saying Kaiser name.
Well, that was Steve-O's going off for this stream, man. We love you guys, man. We'll be back. Mark said, Kaiser. Make sure you guys are following us at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, Chicago Sky Central at gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799, with the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related, man. I love you guys. Go Sky. And we're going to have fun. Regardless of how ugly or not the games are, we're going to have fun here at Chicago Sky Central. So hit that subscribe